I'm going to be sharing my story, a major fuck up in my business. I run BM Pro Makeup. We're a team of makeup artists, and I'm just looking to share some knowledge, and hopefully someone will pick up a thing or two on what I did that affected my business in a negative way and how I rose from the ashes.
I'm a bit, my nerves are jumpy. I couldn't even take water this morning. I'm hoping that I'm able to share what I have to share the way I want to share it, and I hope it will make such an impact in the lives of the people that will be listening today.
I'm expecting it to be an open session where I get to learn a lot and I get to understand how people have gone through problems and how they've also solved those problems.
We like that kind of content. You know? Stories that touch. They have to really touch for you to cry. If at the end of this thing nobody is crying, we need to fake some tears, like honestly, because come on, you can't do a whole event with 3 speakers, fuck up stories and nobody cries. It ain't working. Somebody has to cry. You look like you will cry. Will you cry? Just somebody should promise me they will cry. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as we welcome our first storyteller for today, Chioma Akpota.
Okay, so my first F-up for this event is that I actually thought my speech was going to be 1 hour. And then Fatima said, Chioma, is 7 minutes. I said, what? How am I going to shrink a whole fuck up story of a 1 hour into a 7 minute something? But let's see how it goes. I'm not one to make long. Have I started? Has my time started counting? No, just start now, please. Okay, so we've all heard from Chisom what fuck up nights are. Is you, Fatima, you are the reason I'm using this word. What F up nights are. So can we just run to my slides so I just get over and done with and listen to other people's story? Me, I want to listen to. Banka, I can't wait to hear your own story. Okay, they're having their own. All right, my name is Chioma Akpota. I'm an actor, a filmmaker, a wife, and a mom. A working mom. How you all doing? I've been in the film industry since officially 2000. But unofficially 1998. Don't worry, I'm not that old. I started as it's just straight from secondary school I went into the film industry because it's been something I wanted to do all my life. And I had the opportunity to start because the movie industry started, you know, like a close-knit family somewhere around Sulere. I don't know if you guys know, around Winnie's, you know, yeah, all those places. So it was easy it was easy for me to see them and then, you know, try to get into the flow, but it wasn't easy to be in the flow. I'm still waiting, no. Hey, so I have more time to talk. Let me tell you. So, yeah, it was just one day I was sitting on my own. I got a phone call from Fatima that she wants me to do something for her, and I'm one person that you can call. If you're my friend, you can call me at any time. If there's something you want me to do and is within my power to do, I do everything possible to make it happen for you. So when she told me about the this program, I said, okay, that she hadn't told me the name of the event. She said, oh, let's just come and share your story, how you've been in the industry and blah, 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 blah. Your failures, it's just about your failures and, you know. Have we started? We've not started. Next time we have started. Okay. And then I said, okay. Then she calls me back like 10, 15 minutes later. I said, Chioma, the name of the event is, I said, what? She said, because she knows that I'm not used. I said, well, times have changed. I can be around where they're saying it, but not me saying it. By the time I went through my slide over and over again, I found myself saying Fuckupnights. I don't know what she did to me, but it's okay. All right, so you're in the way. Are we ready? Go back and come back. Who am I? Well, like I said earlier, I'm a wife, a mother, a graduate of banking and finance from Lagos State University. I'm an actor with over, I don't know if that figure is right, because at the time I was acting fame. Where I was doing like 3, 4 in a week. So from those days, be checking it. It's more than 200. About 200 acting credits and numerous awards in recognition of my performances. A filmmaker with 5, no, it's not. It's no longer 5. It's 8 now. 8 films I produced myself. Yeah. So what was the initial idea of the project? And that, going back to what the call I was talking about. Earlier I had with Fatima, it was this was the first effort that came to my mind. It's a Gouda Ultimate Search. I don't know if any of you watched the Celebrity Showdown. Yes. You will, okay, good. So I'm sure you have a perception of who I am already. It's okay. And I was invited to join the celebrity edition of the Gouda Ultimate Search reality series, which highlights the struggle of contestants who were 10 against themselves, the wild Mother Nature, and their search for a hidden treasure that brings to the last person standing for, if it's whatever, money. We all know what the show is about. So what went wrong? It was 2000 and, it wasn't 2010, I think it was 2009, thereabout. I had my children. My first child was 2007. My daughter 2009. So, you know, childbearing would slow you down at work at a certain, if you really want to concentrate and nurse your children and then concentrate on family. So as at that time, my daughter was a few months old, or just going to be about a year, and all that while I hadn't worked. You know how you just sit at home and you hear people, I'm doing this project, this person is doing this. You feel like you feel forgotten. And that, you know, that's how your career will just, people start to forget it, because, you know, when you say, that should be in the act before. I hate to hear that thing. I say, act, how? So I was already in panic mode. I needed to, you know, get out of the mommy mode and, you know, come on board work mode. So months after months after months, no call, no work. I say, somebody have jinxed me or what? I don't understand it. So I got a call from a friend of mine, Bob Manuel. Bob Manuel at that time used to host Gouda Ultimate Search. So it was a boss. I was like, Bob said, Choma, there's something I need for you to do. I said, is it work? Is it work? Is it work? He said, yes, there's this show. You know, I anchor Gouda Ultimate. I said, I know, what's going on? You know, I was jumping on it like, I beg, you know, someone really hungry to do something. And then he told me about the show. So I accepted the project. They were supposed to announce the day after I received the call. It's the wrongest thing to do as a person. They're going to announce a show that was going to air across the nation. So you mean that, you know, to show you that they have been planning over possibly 2 years, and then some months prior to that time, and they called me a day before, and I took it on without thinking, because what? I was hungry for work and I was in a desperate mood. So I didn't think anything through. I just jumped on it, having no idea what the show was about. He said it's just Gouda Ultimate Search, just celebrities coming and everything. And the first thing he said to me, he threw it right up. I mean, that was a no-brainer. He said, Choma, the sign-on fee is 1 million. I said, hey, I'm going. Take me there. You understand? You know, for someone who hasn't worked for a long time and they're telling you 1 million sign-on, and the longer you stay on the show, if there's an eviction today, you survive it, another 1 million added. I said, what? Where is it? Where are they signing? In fact, should I announce it myself? You know? So, and that went on and all of that. But of course, the voice of reasoning, I'm the hyper one. My husband is the one that thinks something. He said, Choma, what? I said, please don't start this thing. It's work. Don't bother. It's work. I'm going. He said, no. Have you thought about it? Where's the contract? And do you know I signed the contract after we announced? So it was F up on top of the other, on top of the other. So I signed it. I went on the show. My husband, the way told me about not to go and what to do, what not to do, and all of that. Gave me cold feet, and then, of course, the show. We got on the show. I'm going to just, I left all, well, I had no prior knowledge what the reality TV show was all about. I'm just trying to run through it. What could I have done differently? Honestly, I haven't even said the show. So what could I have, honestly, what I believe I should have done was just take a breather, probably say no at that time because it was too late. You had no idea what you were jumping into, Choma. You just took it on. So the best thing I could have said then was, no, I can't. Despite that, you know, I had money, very juicy money at that time. So what did I learn? To take my time to study and understand the project before I take it on, which is, all these things are self-explanatory. Proper contract review is key. Get a management team, whatever you're doing. Easy come, easy go. Depression can kill. All right, let me explain to you what that show did to me. We went on the show. You know, people who know me know that I'm very prim and proper when it comes to certain things. I like that if you're doing something a certain way and we're supposed to do it a certain way, I want it done that way. I have a bit of OCD. I am a bit of, you know. So I just want things, you've said we'll start at 11. So if I'm the one coming late, I'll apologize. But if it's 11, start at 11. You know, everything so it doesn't mess with my head. That's how it does it. If it's not arranged, it messes with my head. So we got on there, other contestants. I'm not one to see something bad and shut my eyes. So many things were going wrong on the show, but I didn't know it was meant to be that way because they had a lot of time to prepare. So things were happening, and of course, Choma that thought it was just come, play a game, do this. If you win, you go. Me, I was constantly, if I don't leave this one, that's 1 million added to my money. If I don't leave the next day, that's another 1 million, that's 3 million, oh my God. So I was focused, I wanted, but I didn't know that you had to bring certain elements to the show to make it what it should be. You know, so when they were doing those things, it didn't all go with me, it just didn't go. So they now saw that it was my weak point and took advantage of it. Do you understand? Like, you can't use an F word on me for telling you something. No, you shouldn't be doing that. Just where you're telling, it's your business. And you just flip it. It's a general show. It's not a rated show. So all the curses, all the abuses will be expunged. Then me, when I sabi curse, my own no pass idiot waka. And it's okay. They used it like that, and you know, it put me. So many things happened. Eventually, I got home. I told my husband, "This was what happened. This wasn't, you know, it wasn't what they told me it was. So it'd be like we just go there, go fight, and all of that." So I don't know which kind of show. He told me, but I told you not to go, and I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that. Okay, what I wanted to do that I thought was going to be right, and someone is telling me no, it's wrong. At the end of the day, it ends up being that they're actually right. So I told him everything that happened, head to toe. I don't hide anything from my husband. So the first day they aired the show, I watched it. I looked at my husband. I looked at the TV. I said, he just got up and left the room. And that was my breaking point. Everything was manipulated. I looked like a witch. I looked like, you know, if you see me coming, just run. I looked like, I was shocked. At that point I couldn't take it. I said, God, what is this? We shot that show in 6 days, right? It was aired in a month. And they took everything they could take from whatever they got and just swindle. My films are like, oh, quiet girl, the one that's always crying. So they needed to leverage on it to tell people that she can be like this. So it was something I couldn't handle. And then that was when depression set in. I was depressed for 2.5 years. I thank God that I didn't try to attempt suicide because I got text messages, I got calls. I got threats. I got messages from the one from Facebook was just terrible. You see people say, I still have those messages in my inbox. People telling me so many things. Is this who you are? you're a mother, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. And it was just too much to handle at that time, so I was depressed. And of course, the jobs I thought were going to come after that stopped coming. So I had depression to deal with. I had, I didn't have, thank you. So you see, you got, someone is crying. So, I didn't quite, know how to handle it. But what I learned from it was the power of media. You can't fight media, but your silence at a point can fight it. I didn't talk. And that was how it helped die it down a bit. But there's some things I still post on social media. You see people still, you just see one person that will just raise the hair. And that's how she is. He good ultimate said, she showed this person. That's how she truly is. And what those years have taught me, it gave me a thick skin. I grew a thick skin. And my skin is so thick that it's almost pushing me to a point where it now looks as if I'm actually that kind of person, but it's just a shield. Do you understand? I get people tell me, oh no, you're not approachable. I say, because I'm a shy person. I'm a naturally shy person. If I walk into a room and I just walk straight to where I'm going to sit down, just let somebody that knows me come and we talk. You'll be like, when she entered there, she was not talking now. She was, because I try, it's a, what they call it? It's a cover, it's a wall. I just used to protect myself because I don't know what, so that period of who I am, shy person, and then the depression of what, only God knows whether this one want to watch the show and all of that. And so there's some proposals I've taken to companies that got turned down because of that, and so many other things. I'm so sorry, I'm taking a lot of time. I just needed to, share it. So, what not to do as a filmmaker, as a person in general, before you take on a contract, before you take on a job, make sure there's somebody, possibly a lawyer, to review it with you. Make sure whatever you're taking on aligns with who you are. Make sure it is something you know that the disadvantages won't pull you down. It will only be a stepping stone. If I wasn't strong enough, if my mom wasn't prayerful enough, if my pastors weren't there, I don't know, I probably might have attempted suicide at that time, but I'm just grateful to God that He made me a stronger person. He made me see life differently. He made me see those people that take their lives. It made me understand that there's a point where it gets that you're like, damn it, I'm just taking my life, let me go. Do you understand? Because there's no one there to reach out to that little person that has a little voice that's, okay, it wasn't my fault. I just wanted to do it like this and all of that over the years. And, so before you take on something, use your phones. Research. Is this something you want to do? Is this something that you benefit from? If I had known prior to that time that, okay, this is what it was, that, okay, just bring yourself, I would have acted along. I'm an actor. That's what I do for a living. You understand? I've acted along and I would have prepared my family. Okay, na fimo, no be so ideal, na fimo, na money, I just went to, and all of that. So because the power of media was so strong against my little self and all of that, I couldn't battle. I had to keep quiet. I said, those who know me know. And that's what gave me the sustaining power I needed, and then prayer, of course. So I hope with these few points of mine, I was able to, thank you so much for listening. And if you have questions, I'm so sorry I took longer than I should have.
I think what we would do.
One question. Okay, cool. Thank God. One question. Hallelujah. What for what? One is okay. I hate being vulnerable. I hate being open. So I'm still going to fight myself for opening up like this. Yeah, I'm still going to say why? But it's okay. I'm sure someone learned something.
Thank you for a very compelling story.
Thank you.
I remember the show faintly that was between Lagos and Accra, but I do remember a little bit.
Yeah.
And now you say people still get back to you on social media. How are you using your social media and your celebrity to fight back bullying? This is a form of bullying.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember. I still beat myself up for that. I remember Big Brother last year, CC. I feel CC was manipulated, extremely manipulated. That their own show was live. You could see it. So you won't say, okay, no, when they cut, what point did they tell her to be like this? I mean, as human beings, we have our limitations. We have what we like, we have what we don't like. And so we don't expect people to infringe on our rights and all of that. But you see that room, that Big Brother room, that Big Brother voice where he talk, say, CC, how are you? That is where the manipulation goes on, because they've seen your weaknesses, they've seen your strengths, they've seen where you can, if they talk to you like this, if they bend you, will you do it like this? If they talk to you like, will you do it like that? So after the Golden Ultimate Search, I took my time to research on reality shows. Everything you see on a reality show is scripted. Nothing is real in reality shows. Trust me on that. I can give you firsthand. So what I did, I didn't speak up for her, which I still feel was bad for me. Maybe I was scared that I would open up a can of worms at that time. Say, oh, it's okay, it's there too. Yeah, and CC, the same kind of people. I wasn't ready to fight that. You understand? So it held me back a bit, but somewhere in my subconscious, I wish I had spoken. So, but if you know me very well, if you follow me, if you see that, if you watch my posts, and I see there's someone bullying someone somewhere, I speak up. There was a time they were fat shaming my friend Uche Jumbo. She was beside me when she was reading all those comments. This girl was weeping. I couldn't hold it. She was saying, no, Choma, don't send. I couldn't hold it. I went to the bathroom. I wrote an episode. I mentioned all those things. I put it on social media. I was ready. I was even ready. I had called my police friends. If I find these people, I will arrest them. That's how, angry I was. When I see people like my son just taking so much time. My son just got into secondary school, and there was an attempt of bullying. This one was not whether we fight it or there was no case. I said, please come, teacher. How can you solve it now before I come out? So every opportunity I get, I assess the situation perfectly before I jump on it. Why? Because I still have something tailing me, so that people don't misunderstand where I'm coming from. People don't say, that's why my son comes to complain and says, Mommy, Dad, I just tell them, I just speak to him first to empower him, so that if it happens again, he knows how to treat it. Instead of me coming to fight all the time, I might be at work next time, they call mommy or daddy, call mommy or daddy and all of that, and we're not available. So what happens? So I had to, so it's one-on-one. If I don't even like it at all, bullying. So.
All right, thank you very much. Actors, celebrities, they always tell you I'm a naturally shy person. Yes. So I think I'm a naturally poor person. Because then, So just be saying the opposite as you're confessing the opposite. It will be working for you in the other way, right? Okay. The next speaker that we have, she's a leading businesswoman and CEO of BM Pro Makeup Group. She's an award winner and trailblazer in the fields of cosmetics, makeup education, and beauty consultancy. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Banke Meshidalawa.
My name is Banke. I'm a makeup artist. I went to University of Lagos. I studied English. So I had a lot of time. So I remember then I would wake up in the morning at like 6, and I would start doing my makeup from about 6:30. If I had a class for 8 o'clock, I would do my makeup. When I'm done, saunter to class, maybe 8:30. Sometimes I would miss the class. But it was English, and I enjoyed reading. So I did very well. I had a 2-1. I think I discovered myself while I was still in the university. I started this in my first year, by the 3rd semester. So it was makeup, parties. Well, I was serious at some point. When I graduated, it was time for NYSC. I served my father's company, and I was still doing makeovers. In fact, then people would come to the house to have their makeup done, and they would, Don't strip me. And they would pay me. So from the onset, I knew that I wanted to do makeup. I wanted to charge people. And I just wanted to, like, save the world, more or less. One beautiful face at a time. After NYSC, the next thing was, okay, my dad said to me, people can't be coming to this house anymore. I mean, I would come back, I can't even park my car. One woman is coming out of my house, blah, blah, blah. You need to get out of this house. So and then I used to save. I used to save all my money with GT Bank. They had a branch in New York then. So I took all the money and I looked for a store on Rumens Road in Ikoyi. That shop was, I think it was about 10 or 15 square meters. Very small. It was just me, and I employed a cleaner. So my cleaner would come in and clean, and then all these women would come in there, and I'll $10. You know, Mrs. Tinubu, everybody would come in to that tiny little store to have their brows done, and it was, I lived it was a happy life. I was happy. I would come from the house. I would transport myself to Romans Road. It was easy. And then my business started to grow. But it was still the same me. I was the accountant. In fact, I was a cleaner sometimes. Everything. I didn't structure my business. So up until last year, everything went on. As the business grew, I decided to expand. We started to manufacture our own products. And all of this was from funding from the business. So people would pay and I would save the money, and I expanded. And then I brought in girls into the business. I trained. So then I wouldn't even employ makeup artists. I would employ my driver's sister, my gate man's cousin, just trying to save the world and make an impact, just help people that I felt needed a lifeline. So I brought in all of these people and trained them, and I would pour myself into training my staff. Like, if I could break their heads and pour in the artistry in it, I would do it. I held nothing back. I still do that. So sometime last year, I had these two girls who were a strong part of the team. And even then, people say to me, Banker, how can you be putting the names of your staff on, for the world to see that they were the ones responsible for this makeup? And I said, look, these girls, when they came, they were cleaners. They were, they started as the cleaner. And then they learned the makeup. And then I said, Auntie, we can do makeup. Oh. And I was always auntie to everybody. That's too. So they got trained and they were very good. And I would send them to my clients because I really wanted my clients to be sorted out. I didn't do this whole segregation of saying staff could not attend to some particular customers. And then they came and they said, oh, we want to leave. And I said, look, you guys have earned it. You've spent 5 years, you've spent 7 years. It's time for you to leave. But when you leave, don't be a stranger to me. I want you to always come back. In fact, we have distributors. You can become distributors and still be, an arm of BM Pro. And I said, oh, no, Auntie, we want to start our own thing. And I gave them my blessing that day in my office, and they left. So this particular day, I went to a fabric store in Lekki. And then I met this family, this woman and her daughter. They were like, oh, BM Pro is doing our makeup next year, May. And I said, oh, nice. Which of the artists did they book for you? And I said, oh, one of your girls. And I said, no, they left. They left last week. They said, no, these girls just came to collect the payment and they brought your BM Pro invoice. I said, no, that's not possible. They said, we paid her 400K yesterday. So I said, okay, can you send me this thing? And then the woman was she was, that day she became my new friend because something like that had happened to her. Her younger sister did the same to her, so she was really passionate and everything. And then she sent me all the receipts and everything, and I said, wow, okay, since 2015, when they pulled this or when they summarized, even the manager came and said, Madam, please, what business do you people do in your company that your staff can be taking your money like this? And I said, look, these girls will go to customers and they will say, oh, you need to pay this money to my personal account. When I get to the office, I will remit the money to the company because I need to, alert, network, blah, blah, blah. And, some of these clients will call and I would actually say, yes, it's fine to pay to them. At least, thank you for letting me know. So and then some people wouldn't call at all and they would just do the transfer and that was that. So when they summarized everything, it was a massive amount. And I remember thinking, wow. And then they were in connivance with the manager because they would have to print out invoices to send to customers. And, so someone, top management, knew about it. And I just said to myself that, thank God I didn't become this person who left everything to staff. That I was still the makeup artist. I was still the person, the brand. I didn't become this person that, oh, maybe I'm building roads in Asaba now. Oh, yeah, girls be doing the makeup. So that when everything dawned on me that, okay, this is what these girls have done, and this is even just the one that I know. What of other people that, other staff? Because then it was not obvious that everybody was living their own lives on the company's tab. So, we got the police involved. And I must say that the Nigerian police was very wonderful to me. I went to EFCC. When I met Oga Lamodi, I said, please, Oga, I don't want to waste your time. But you're the one handling Desiane's case. My case is very small compared to what it is. And he said, no, that if your staff feel so entitled to do this, then it means there's something wrong with our youth. You've helped these people and this is how they pay you back. No, madam, we're going to follow. Every time someone from EFCC will call me and say they want to go and pick up, I say, what's all this? I just want to do makeup. All this, go and report in, After a while, when they arrested them, even the Nigerian police, they bought their plane tickets. Okay, so they said they went to arrest them and take them to Abuja. And then I said, why Abuja? Then they said because Lagos was compromised. You believe that some of my clients, who are my friends, went to the Panti to bail them out, the lawyers. So they said, madam, some of your customers have been coming here. There's one particular one, she's even Igbo. I said, no, it cannot be her. It's not possible. They said, madam, she stood shorty for your girl at 12 midnight, and we let the girl go. Do you know God is so wonderful? Like 2 days later, after the police called me to tell me this, I went to the banking hall and I saw her there and I said, they said it was you, but I don't believe it's you. She said, yes, banker, you want to chance those girls. You want to, I said, are you in my business? Do you know what my business is? She said, that girl cannot steal 27 million naira from you. I said, oh, right, so you are our accountant now. And I said, okay, you know what you do for me? Just tell them to bring their bank statements for you. So let's see where it will go. She said, no, I've told them, but they haven't brought it. I said, they can never bring it to you because plus you, plus them, you're all criminals together. And I left it. So for the Nigerian police, they arrested them, they locked them up. And it was, and then they called me and said they were going to remand them in Kirikiri. And I thought about it. I said, okay, if I send these girls to Kirikiri, their lives, it's over. If you do 1 year there, when you come out, you cannot. And I just said, and I remember my relationship with them. They were my favorites. When I get into they used to dress like me. When I get into the office, every Tuesday we used to have management meeting where we discuss brows, makeup, clients, and I would call them for theirs first, and it made, I thought of all of that, and I said, you know what, it's not worth it. Let it go. When I told my husband, and then I was murdered on social media. So that day, when the stories came out, I was ready to start respond. My husband said, "Where? How? In this house?" Just called two of my friends. They came. They took my phone. They were like, "You are not going to. You will just be reading it too, but you're not going to respond." I said, "I need to respond. I need to post." Then my friend said to me, "You remember when Dolce & Gabbana had Flack? Did they put anything on their page? No." Said, so you have to start thinking global. You're not one Nigerian that will just be typing and answering people. You don't know who's watching you. Yes. So I didn't respond. So after that whole episode, and then they called me and said it was time to move them to Kirikiri, I just said, you know what, let it go, I'm dropping the case. The police, they were upset too. Madam, this is not even your case anymore. It is between the state and these criminals. They're certified criminals. I said, okay. I went to see the people that I needed to see. I said, you know what, Uncle, I'm not doing again. Leave it. Let them go. They've stolen leave it. Let it go. So, and then these girls didn't know that I knew everything. Because after a while, they used to post, they'll be, God is vindicating, everyone calls God. Yeah.
And I would say that when you see someone that's calling God too much, run. Run. Don't call. They are liars, they are thieves, they are crooks. So if you don't want people to see you as a thief, stop calling God anyhow. Let your actions speak God. That aside. So I let the case go, and I just decided that in my business, I was going to put in the proper structure. And there's some key departments in every business. There's accounts, there's staff welfare, there's human resources, and they all have to be separate. There's the creative part. I just wanted to do makeup. I was sleeping, thinking, I didn't even focus on any other part of the business. What I've learned now is that you can't do everything yourself. You have to have people, you have to hire people that can do this, but still have a part of you in the business. So now we've grown, we're more structured, and then we have international people from the international, from the global family have interest in BM Pro. So I'm so thankful that this happened, because then if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have seen the other side. I wouldn't have known what my staff was capable of doing, and I wouldn't be able to put in the checks that we have now. So that's my story.
Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Okay, we have one here.
Okay.
Thank you. So how do you, going forward now, when you say you put checks and balances, what kind of checks? Because obviously you still want to save the world, you still want to inspire and train people.
Yes.
How is it, what kind of control measures are you putting in place for those of us that might find ourselves in your position?
So now I don't get emotional about hiring staff. If you come to me, in fact, my welder will come to me before and tell me, oh, my daughter went to Guinea-Con, can you? And I will call in the girl and interview the girl myself, and then hire. But now I have a HR who is she worked. And then another problem was that I didn't work mainstream. I didn't have a 9 to 5 when I finished work, when I finished school. So I didn't have the qualities to hire staff. I would just, if you tell me a sub story, Shebi is to teach you makeup, and if you can learn it, but you can't, your business cannot thrive if you continue to do that. Yes, you cannot. So you need to set sentiment aside, follow the norm, have code of conduct, and instill that in staff. That way, it's better for your business.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? We have time for one more.
No? My greatest fear. See this girl, that's my staff. I think sometimes I'm bothered about, now it seems we're still very relevant, BM Pro is still there, after so long. It's been 20 years and we're still there. I wonder how, in another 10 years, how it's going to be. Will it still be, will our makeup still appeal to people because it's the same traditional classic look that we do? So yeah, it's not fear, but sometimes I'm like, oh, what's going to happen to me when I'm in my 50s? Well, hey, let's see.
All right, thank you. He is the CEO, Aerial View Nigeria Limited. He's a marketing and digital genius as far as I'm concerned, an astute businessman, and very importantly to me, he's a Manchester United fan with a religious bias for Fergie. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Yombo Iton.
They are celebrity fuck-ups. Nobody knows me. So their story will be the one trending on social media. I'll just go home quietly and live the rest of my life. So they are the real fuck-ups. I'm just a minor fuck-up. So who am I? My name is Yombo Piton. Married, father of 2. My daughter turned 8 months yesterday. I'm a lawyer. Then I found out I was a disaster at being a lawyer because I started having nightmares of those thick books chasing me in my sleep. And I knew I couldn't go on with it. So I moved to marketing, and I've been doing marketing now for over a decade. And I always tell people, since I started doing marketing, I've not worked a day in my life. because every single day I go to work, it's like I'm just having fun. So that's who I am. Okay, what was the initial idea of project? The initial idea of project was that because I had work experience, I'd worked in a couple of telcos, so I'd gained some experience in marketing strategy. So I started a company, and we had 4 main functions. We were doing marketing consultancy and as an agency. We were doing mega promos, so think of all this, win an aeroplane, we'll come up with strategy, concept, execute. We were doing digital marketing, and we were doing value-added services. Value-added services is something you do with the telcos. Essentially, you get a license from NCC, and then you can go and work with the telcos. So when you think of value-added services, VAS, think of all these services you can do from your phone. Like you can borrow credit, you can subscribe to get some content every day, all those sorts of things. So that was value-added services. So we had those 4. The company was set up to ensure that there were 4 streams of income from those 4 different businesses. And to be quite honest, it went very well. In the first couple of years, we actually really did some good work in terms of all the different aspects of the business. But at some point in time, value-added services became a beast. And value-added services is one of those things that most people don't look at. But for the telcos, honestly, at some point in time, it was giving them 30-40 billion naira per month. Apart from you are buying airtime. So that area of telco was actually generating 30-40 billion. I know people that their companies were making 500 million, 1 billion per month. Just for, you want to watch Davido's latest video, you subscribe and we take your 50 naira every week, we take your 100 naira every week. It was a really profitable and good line of business. And yeah, so what happened was that, what went wrong? That was me when the hour gassed. I was so confused. My eyes just opened like that, and I aged. That was me. You see, the first slide had this vision of somebody looking out at the world. All of a sudden, I was in the desert. Yeah? And what went wrong was that, as a company, we totally moved on from all the other sources of income. Because those sources of income were difficult. You had to go and meet a client, talk to him, start to do his digital media. Then you tell you, I only have 2,000 followers. Why, are you crazy? Are you mad? But with VAS, it was just easy. Just sign up a partner. We had global partners like gold.com, etc. Sign them up, go and meet the telcos and start making money. And all you're doing is you're marketing this thing to people online, etc. And they are sitting down. And we did really well, because at some point we became a top 10 revenue generating company to the major telco in Nigeria. So there was just no point looking at the other things. And it was really successful until people started getting greedy, right? People started doing all sorts of unethical things and, just really messing around with subscribers, putting people in for services they didn't subscribe for. I'm sure some of you have experienced that. Yes. Every time I go and see my mom, she tells me how people are taking money from her SIM card and she didn't survive. In fact, one day I checked and I saw romantic tips. I said, Mommy, what's this about? I was like, what's going on? What's all this romantic tip subscription? So yeah, people got greedy, and the regulators stepped in. And Nigerian regulators, I'm not sure it's regulation or destruction. They just totally switched off the tap. They had a fair chance, as in, okay, people had gotten greedy, all sorts of sharp practices, people were being defrauded of their money. I still didn't think it was good enough to turn off the tap. Because, like I said to them, if you look at the example of America, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, is accused of having brought in the current government by virtue of all the things that went on Facebook. Facebook hasn't been suspended. Facebook hasn't been taken down for 1 day. And the real reason why Facebook hasn't been taken down for 1 day is because there's an impact of Facebook on the economy, right? when the regulators shut down the whole VAS business, I know a company, they had 35 staff. That same week that they shut down, 34 of the staff got termination letters. And we've lost thousands of jobs in that industry. And we've also lost, because most of the work in that industry is content, which again, target markets, younger guys, those are the guys generating the content. We've lost a lot of innovation in that industry as well. So we've lost talent. Impact of what went wrong. Well, if you are making good money and then for like 6 months you don't get a credit alert, the first thing that goes wrong is that you have a financial problem, because all of a sudden you have gone from making money, in fact you have blown, and then you have burst. It's like a balloon. They blow you up. They blew you up at some point, and then they just put a pin inside you, and then. So in fact, it was so bad that I used to go to, when I want to withdraw money from the ATM, I would go around 1 a.m. thinking the bank would be asleep, or I would withdraw the 50,000, and then, you know, Nigerian banks don't forgive or forget. Yeah. You get that debit alert. And I'm thinking, I used to, you know, I don't have money now. Just let me withdraw this 20K or something, but they'll take their money. So the real impact of what happened, for me, the first thing was a financial impact, because as a company, we essentially lost, because we hadn't looked at the other lines of business that we had, we essentially lost our #1 earner. So all of a sudden, we went from making money to making absolutely nothing, and this persisted for months. The second impact of what happened was that it had an impact, because I had a team, and I could see it, because they all knew everybody had lost their jobs in the industry. Everybody had lost their jobs. So I could see that and I have a young team, so I could see that there was genuine fear and concern about their job security and all of that. So that also had an impact on me. And the third thing it did to me was it had a health impact. It had a health impact. When I have problems, I tend to think a lot. So when I have a problem, a real problem, the first thing that happens is that I get mentally burdened. After I get mentally burdened, on a normal day, I'm an insomniac, so I don't sleep till 2 or 3 a.m. But when I now have a problem, I stop sleeping altogether. So sometimes I'll go 3 days without sleep. Lie down on my bed, get up the next day, I haven't closed my eyes once. And it would go like 3 days, 4 days. And also, unfortunately for me, my genotype is SC, which means I have some sickling in my blood, right? So what happens is that when I'm stressed like that, I fall ill. And it's not illness of malaria or anything like that. It's like you have a crisis, you're in pain. In fact, some people die from that kind of illness. So it was a lot of stress on me, and financially, emotionally, mentally, there was a lot of stress on me. So that was the impact of what went wrong. What could I have done differently? That's a bear. The bear knows it's standing on ice. The ice could break. I should have known all along that with VAS, the ice was going to break at some point in time, because there were all sorts of people were getting greedy. Too many things were going wrong. The regulators were beginning to really tighten up. And to be honest, they did some good work. And yeah, so at some point in time, I should have known that the balloon was going to burst. So we should have diversified. And yes, because we had the competence and skill set in-house to do other things, we were not just a vast company. We should have diversified, and we should have built muscle in the other lines of business, our digital marketing, our marketing consultancy, our mega promos. We could have built muscle in those areas and try to go out and chase clients and close deals. What did I learn? I was smoking stuff stronger than what that guy was smoking. In fact, he's a learner compared to me at that point in time. What did I learn? I learned a few things. I learned that you should kind of like, when the whole problem started, the first thing I did, when I have a problem, the first thing I do is I have a pity party. I feel sorry for myself for like 2 days. I'll just be at home. I'll just immerse myself in it that, okay, I have this problem. 2 days, feel sorry for myself, have ice cream for breakfast, anything I want to do, I just let it go. And then one day I always tell myself, okay, dude, done, dusted, let's go. And that always works for me. So one of the things I learned is that I can back myself at any point in time, in that it's just a setback. Once I deal with it, that it's a setback, and it hasn't cost me my life, then I'm ready to get back on the horse. The other thing I learned was that you must be able to back yourself. What do I mean by back yourself? When the thing first happened, I had such issues. I was so mentally tormented that honestly, I went to see a neurologist. I have this health plan, and I wanted to see a psychiatrist because I thought I was going mad. Then they told me to see the psychiatrist, who was something like 100K. I said, no, I'm not mad yet. So I asked which one of them is free. They said the neurologist is free. So I said, Shebi is all mental and my head is not correct. I'll be okay, so I'll see the neurologist. I saw the neurologist and I told her, she said, what's my biggest problem? At this point, I hadn't slept for like 4 or 5 days. She said, what's my biggest problem? I explained the whole situation to her. She said, what's your biggest problem in all of this? And I said, my staff. And she said, fire them. I said, just like that. She said, yes, fire them. Just call them, go to the office today and fire them. And honestly, everybody I spoke to said the same thing, because they said, look, if you don't fire them now, at some point you are going to fire them. And it's better to fire them now. If you have X amount in your account, it means you don't have to use it to pay salary. Just fire all of them, let them go home. And I really struggled with that, so I couldn't do that. I really, really just couldn't do that, because I have people that work with me, and for me, that's kind of like a trust, right? You kind of like, those people come to you, they do what you tell them to do, and they kind of like, it's like a contract. You are supposed to kind of have their backs, right? So I couldn't fire them. And I kind of like learned to back myself on that so as not to fire them. And we had a conversation. I had a conversation with my team, and we all agreed that, okay, this was the situation, we were going to get through it. And to be honest, we didn't fire anybody, and we always paid salaries, which was a big issue, but we somehow managed to get through. What else did I learn? Sorry, one step back. What else did I learn? Yeah, I learned that you should diversify. When times are good, diversify. And I also learned one thing. I'd been told this lesson, but I hadn't learned it. I did a course at the Lagos Business School, and we were fortunate enough to meet Dangote. Our class went to meet him because it was a class of entrepreneurs. And he told us something that was like a secret of his. He said, wherever he operates, or wherever you operate as a business person, you should be able to influence policy. Dangote now is going to be the first person to build a refinery in Nigeria. When they want to write a policy about maintaining refineries or refineries in Nigeria by private individuals, in fact, he will be the one to write that policy and give it to government. Yeah. So I learned that he had mentioned that to us like 3 or 4 years ago, but I didn't put it into practice. So now, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be very close to government, and I'm going to try and influence policy, because if not, it means that at any point in time, your business can be eliminated overnight by somebody sitting down in a secretariat or in a ministry, and they are gone. So what's next? Do you know what those are? Those are chicks of eagles. At that point, at that stage, they look like rubbish, they look like whatever. An eagle is an apex predator. It's one of the few predators, if not the only predator, that hunts on land, sea, and in the air, right? An eagle flies to heights that nobody else can get to. An eagle is like the top of the list, and that's what we have decided to move on to. So now we have re-strategized, and one of the things I also learned was that you shouldn't just make money. You should have social impact, right? If you are just making money like we're doing in VAS, the day it stopped, nobody cared, because we weren't impacting on lives. So now we're doing a couple of things, and those things are targeted at youths, especially in Lagos State. And the second group of people we are targeting with what we are doing is servicemen of the Nigerian Armed Forces, as well as survivors of late servicemen who were killed in action. We intend to do a lot with the youths, job creation, giving them platforms to become better people, to be able to make money. And we also want to create a lot of awareness and respect for the Nigerian Armed Forces, because kind of like how you go abroad and everywhere you go, if a military man comes there, they serve him first, they do whatever it is. And I think we have to do a lot for those guys, as well as their widows and children we leave behind. So now anything and everything we're doing is going to have to do with social impact. So in a nutshell, our next steps to become more involved in the society, to impact the society, and to become apex predators. So that's it from me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, let's just take one.
No questions. No questions.
Calm down. Do we have any questions?
No, none.
Okay, that's fine. Hi, Bankhead. That was. I'm still at a loss for words. I mean, I'm thinking about the amount. I'm thinking about the circumstances behind it. What was this experience like for you?
People hardly share their fuck-up stories. So it was good to also listen to my co-speakers, Yombo and Chioma's story. And for me, I've come a long way from that incident. I've learned so many things, and our BM Pro has more structure now. We have more departments, and we're still learning, we're still growing, but those are things that mustn't be toyed with in every business. So I'm glad that I listened to other people share their stories today.
Amazing.
And I had a great time.
Oh, I saw you. I saw you while the other speakers were listening.
Yeah.
Do you think, in terms of feedback, were you able to identify any particular people, or maybe from the questions you got, or the people who were, because I saw people flock to you after do you feel like there is a particular impact that this has made?
Yeah, it was obvious that a lot of people followed that story when it happened, and it just felt like closure to some people, because watching their expressions, some of them were shocked. So this is a story that has never been told. I was silent after everything happened, because silence is golden.
Yes.
But what's important is that I learned some life lessons, and we've applied that to the business. So it's a win situation.
All right, thank you. Now, Fuckupnights, the first event was in December in Lagos. This is basically the second one.
Oh, wow.
And it's a brand, it's growing, but we want more people to know about it. So what would you say to people about Fuckupnights based on your experience?
I would say follow the story, keep a tab, be on the lookout for more of fun nights, Fuckupnights events, and it's such a fantastic platform. Like I said, people hardly share their mess up stories, so it is good to see the other side of success and learn from it.
Thank you so much, Banker.
Thank
you heard
you.
her follow the story. Thank you very much. Hi, Chioma.
Hello, Chisom.
I saw you in Pray, and you said this is your first time at SMW. It didn't look like it.
Really?
Yes, you're
With all
natural. He did not
Are
show.
you serious? Oh my gosh.
He did not show.
It's a lie. You are pulling my legs.
See that? I cannot pull your legs. For real. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad.
But that was a very touching tale. I personally followed that episode.
Story.
Yeah, I followed the show, and everything you said I could relate to. So it was touching for me to see your angle, and it just brought something home to me, which I would like you to just touch on: the danger of the single story.
Yes.
Because all we had.
After that show, I've always been a sucker for wanting to listen to the other side of the story before I pass my judgment. And I furthermore learned that from Kate Henshaw. There's no way you come and give Kate, no matter how close you are to her, if you tell her something that happened to you, and God help you, that person is near, she will call the person, people will tell the story in front of her, then she will know. Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, it will be her integrity or my integrity at stake.
Yes.
So after that show, I'm like, I have to hear from both parties or all the parties involved in anything to be able to ascertain the truth behind what had happened. So it made me a stronger person. It made me realize that there's always an underlying truth somewhere in the story, and it takes the very smart and intelligent one to fish it out. You know, someone can't be shouting somewhere except the person is mad, or someone who's sane can't be shouting shouting somewhere without something. There's never an action without a cause. Yes. Do you understand? So something caused it. Yeah. And there's never
always
fire. There's no smoke without fire. So always be smart enough to think, say, okay, why did this person do this? Why did this happen? You know, exhaust all the possible angles there are, and then maybe you can say something.
Talking about effects, when I saw people come to you after the event, you entertained a couple of questions. Do you see any impact directly in the people that were in the room?
Yes, I saw, and what happened was the story. I feel the story I shared, I feel connected to them because we're all emotional human beings. You understand? And so I am very sure that before anybody leaves here, before they say anything, are you sure that was what happened? You know, and then I believe that before anybody takes on a project, before you take on a job, you know, you dot the I's and cross the T's, make sure everything is properly done. If you can afford a lawyer, get a lawyer. If you can't, get a friend that that can speak on your behalf through a lawyer, and get your stuff done and be safe.
Very key, very key. You got emotional at some point. That's something we don't try to hide it or saw it. It's something that we tend to see at the Fuckupnights. But this is just the second event in Lagos. And so I would like you to just say a word or two to whoever is watching about the event and what your impression is of it generally.
Okay, I didn't think it was going to be this impactful. I thought it was just something I'll just come and share my story. I'm like, oh, is that what happened? But all of that. When I found myself reliving those moments and getting really emotional, I then realized that this gathering, this segment, the Fuckupnights, is not something it's not just one of those things that people just put together and just throw it there. It's actually a ministry, because people take better decisions, people learn from other people's mistakes, that you don't have to fail because you don't know how. Now that we have fallen and we're telling you what not to do, you know how to take the next step over the next step and the other step, so you don't have to fail where we have failed. We don't want more failures, we want more success stories. If you're failing, fail fast, learn quickly and move on it. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, makes you a better person, makes you more knowledgeable over things that you probably didn't take note of that were important.
Thank you so much, Shoma. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. Guys, keep watching. Thank you. Mr. Iton.
Boss.
You talked about your learning experience coming into this. So, did you get that learning experience you wanted?
Yes, I actually did. I learned quite a lot from the co-speakers, Chioma and Banke. I think they shared quite a bit, and they opened themselves up, so they were vulnerable. And I could pick up certain things from what they have done, and I'll try to avoid those mistakes based on the lessons they shared.
What you shared on business and financial failure is a very touchy subject. It's close to my heart. And I know it affected a lot of, because we had a demographic was mostly young people, and I saw a lot of them connect with it. Did you see a direct impact of your story by either watching the audience while you spoke, or those of them that spoke to you afterwards, or did you see a direct impact?
Well, it's money, right? So everybody understands money. When you lose money, it goes right to the heart, especially for we guys that, you know, we have to kind of like be breadwinners, especially in this whole African environment. So the instant you start losing money, most people can connect. Once you talk about money, loss of money and loss of income, most people can connect. So yes, I did see that the audience kind of felt it, that they kind of got it, and they kind of, I could see a lot of people kind of putting themselves in my shoes at that point in time and wondering how they would have been able to navigate it. So yeah, for me it was a good opportunity to speak, to share my story, and I think and I hope that I impacted on people that were in the audience.
Okay, talking about the Fuckupnights brand, it's basically, it's more or less what you did today was you gave young people or whoever was watching Expo, like you had done this and basically you gave them the blueprint of how to do it again and make sure they don't fail. So how, I would want you to talk to the audience, because this basically is our second going in Lagos. The first one was in December. So can you speak to whoever is watching about this brand and the value it is adding through this kind of experience to people?
Okay, so Fuckupnights. Immediately the organizers called me, I was interested because it's a platform that allows us to share real stories. I'm big on real storytelling, not the kind of photoshopped lifestyle that most people want to put out and all of that. So I'm big about getting my fingers dirty and really understanding what it is. I'm really I mean, the only problem I had when Fuckupnights called me was which of my many fuck-ups do I share? Because I have quite a few.
Okay.
But yes, I like the platform. I like the fact that people can come here and be sincere. I like the fact that even people that you seem or you think that they have it all figured out, they kind of open themselves up and you see that they are struggling. So for me, it's a great platform and it's something that should be encouraged, and we hope to see more of you guys organizing more shows with people so that all of us can learn from this.
Thank you. Guys, you have heard from him. The only thing I'm going to ask him after we shut down is how you made those slides, man. Like, I need to come and for a slide presentation training or something. Thank you very much, Yomo. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
It was beautiful. They were very open. I cried, and I've heard the stories before it came on air. And yeah, people could relate to these stories. They could relate to these issues, and we had real conversation. And they went back fulfilled and knowing that they were normal. And yeah, it was beautiful. I was very grateful to the speakers. They were very impactful, and I'm grateful for the audience also. They allowed the speakers to open up, and they were very receptive of their stories. So yeah, it was a great event. I'm very grateful. So yeah, so Volume 2 gone. We thank God. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Bye.
I am Ujodam Larry. It was a privilege attending the Fuck Up Story at the Social Media Week Lagos 2019, where we learned from business professionals, actors on their fuck up story in a real life sense. It was insightful learning their mistakes in the business world, in the digital space, and we all left here having our own experience and the important lessons learned. We learned it is essential for us to have structures before engaging in any business, doing or having to detach emotions when it comes to your business, and also the professional world requires a lot of things. They had to go through a lot of things before coming to where they are today, and beyond what we see on the screens and all, they also had their share of bad experiences. We've learned important lessons today, and it's a thing for us to work on and improve ourselves. Thank you.
My name is Juliet Ocheme. Basically, I had a great time with the Fuckupnights event. It was totally inspiring having to hear all these stories from, you know, Chioma Akpota and the CEO of BM Pro. I mean, it got to make me realize that most of the times we are bound to experience these failures to climb the ladder of success, and we shouldn't look at it like it's like the end of the world. I mean, we're meant to learn from it, pick up from our mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and move on.
My name is Abigail Adetoyinbo, and from this session, I was able to gain a lot. First is that when you're being bullied on social media, the best thing you can do for yourself at that point is to keep quiet, because at the end of the day, everything will die down and then they will move on to something new. I was able to get, Choma Akpota, she's one person that I adore a lot. And hearing her talk about certain points where she missed it, like it wasn't smooth for her, the road hasn't been smooth for her. It actually made me realize that, okay, missing it at the point is not the end. That you've actually made a mistake is not the end of the world. Like the major thing is being able to stand up again, learn from that mistake, capitalize on it, and build something stronger out of it.